This is going to be an arms program. The focus on this is to isolate the biceps. It's how to develop the bicep bigger, how to develop the bicep wider, how to make it stronger, and how to make it durate longer. Now this particular program, this is going to be considered an intensity followed by a consistency program. I'm starting with a little bit of a heavier weight. Best to have a spotter, but I'm starting with a little bit of a heavier weight to hit a good intensity with that muscle. Directly after an intensity and a burnout, I'm going to drop it off, go to a little bit lighter weight, and repeat biomechanics as many times as I can. So on this one, I'm starting with the heavier weight. Your position is important on this one. I want the hand the same height as the shoulder. When I set into this position, I want to lean into this wall just a little bit. I'm going to maintain myself up with this tricep, hold myself up. Now the main thing is when you fatigue out, you want to drop that shoulder down. You want to keep that shoulder broad. Range of motion is going to be right here. I want to keep that bicep in flexion the whole time. Now on this one, we're going to go a rep of 15 starting off. Once we get to number 15, we're going to down and hold for 10 seconds. Control it all the way down. And if I need to, I can actually let it hang for a second, let it stretch that bicep out just a little bit, and then I'm going to go into my lighter weight. Now, this lighter weight is going to feel just like that heavy weight directly after doing it. Same position, shoulder at the same height, shoulders at the same height, boom, right here, nice and smooth. Now on this one, I'm telling you to go around a rep of 20. If you get to 20 and you're not feeling that burn, go to 25. But it's considered your consistency. I've already broken that muscle down, so it's everything I'm doing beyond that point that makes that muscle progress. Once you get to your last rep, down and hold for 10 seconds. Control it down nice and slow, and boom. Now we're going to be doing the barbell curl. Now with this one, it's considered a group program. I'm not isolating one particular arm. I'm using the arms together in a group training program. Now on this one, it's very important that the more stationary I keep everything on my body, the more isolated the particular muscle groups are that I'm trying to work out at the time. Now on this one, I have a couple different settings. I can set my elbows deep, I can set them in front, I can set them a little bit lower, but it is important that I keep those shoulders broad, that chest broad, and if I really want to get that chest and biceps a little more, I'm going to put my elbows out just a little bit in front, but the main ideal is to keep those biceps in flexion. So boom, here's my high point right here. Watch the bicep. If I go above that point, my bicep can relax because my shoulders accept the pressure from the curl. Now, so in other words, elbows out in front, broad chest, smooth range of motion, just like this right here. Now literally, there's nothing to do with speed whatsoever. Everything's about muscle control, muscle suspendability. So I'm keeping the elbows perfectly stationary, making the biceps do all the work to perform the range of motion, and I'm going to go all the way through my series, and then when I get to number 20, I'm going to control it all the way down, and I'm going to hold for 10 seconds, maintain a broad chest, broad shoulders, control it down nice and slow, just like that. Okay, now on pulley curls, this is one that I can actually isolate the muscle in a couple of different ways. Reason being, my intensity is coming from a different range of motion. Now, anytime that the arm's coming in front, coming towards the chest, guess what? My chest is the contributing muscle. It flexes. It helps make the pull. Now, what I want to do is if I want to further isolate that bicep, guess what? I can turn away from it, and then my chest is no longer the contributing muscle. It's staying out of flexion. But I'm further isolating the bicep. But you can also see that it also incorporates a little more shoulder. But right here, I can do a hand, lower back, maintain a broad chest, broad shoulders, and then boom, that's considered a really good bicep isolation program right there. Now you'll see my elbows never making a movement. I'm not going too high and I'm not going too low. I'm keeping that bicep flexion right here. Boom. Just right there, nice smooth motions. Make sure that bicep's doing all the work. When you get to the very last one, control it down midpoint. Boom, hold right there. Keep the elbow far away from the body. Hit the end of your burn, control it down nice and slow. Just like that. Another version of an isolated curl is a seated curl. Now this is one where I can actually set my arm on something just in order to keep it very isolated to make the bicep do all the work. Now whichever arm I'm hitting first, I'm going to put that leg forward. So I can put this leg forward, cross this leg out, and then I'm just going to put a spot right here on my leg where I'm going to take the weight I'm going to set that arm there, and I'm going to make sure that that arm doesn't make any movement whatsoever. It's a good idea to have a mirror in front of you just simply so you can watch your range of motion, but you can really see how that bicep peeks out in its flex. It's because everything's isolated, everything's held stationary against a hard object, therefore that bicep's having to do most 90% of the work. The shoulder does a little bit of it, but the shoulder's mostly just doing its suspendability job. Now on this, I like to go around reps of 15, possibly even 20. And then when I get to the last one, to get a really good burnout, I'm going to take it halfway down and remove the knee. Now that bicep's doing all the work. It's maintaining posture through that, the whole program. Once I hit my peak, I'm going to control it down nice and slow. Boom. Now this is one you can also do in intensity consistency, as far as when we did them on the walls, we can do a heavier weight to get that intensity. Directly afterwards, we go to a lighter weight, which is going to feel like the same weight, but we're going to do repetition of biomechanics. It's everything you do beyond the point of breakdown that makes that muscle greater. Now also, some people don't actually like that position. They feel like it gives them a little problem with lower back. But I also have another option. I can either A, have a seat right here, or actually just get a squat down position. As long as my elbow is on something, it's maintaining stationary, and then it's just a full range of motion, just like if it was on my leg. Same concept. Now I don't want to go too high because I want to keep that bicep in flexion, but it's just a nice smooth motion, just like that. When I get to the last one, I'm going to take it down, same concept, halfway, hold, lift the elbow, make the bicep